Welcome back to 75Dually Garage. Today we're actually going to finally get into some fabrication. I'm going to show you today on how I made this. This is a triangular structure, and you can call it what you want, a beam or whatever, but I thought I wanted a very unique structure to hold the side of the whole assembly. So it'll hold the hood, it'll hold the upper tube structure, and it'll also tie into the lower cabinet pieces. I've got a piece right here which is actually 3/32 TIG rod, and I have taped them all together, and I'm going to show you how I made one of these. We're going to utilize these two pins here to bend this stack of 3 rods that I have taped together, and it's going to make up the Z pieces that will go in between each of the structural members there. So let's start this. So we place this in the pin assembly, and then what we do is we bend it around and we make each one of these uniform. I don't know if you can see this on the video, but I've got a little line right here, and that's for me to eyeball up when I've got it to the proper 90 degrees. Okay? So then we flip it over, and what we do is we just continue this process all the way through until I've got it lined up on that mark every time. So we flip it over again, keep everything straight. Nice and easy. Again, we continue this process until we've used up all the rod. And that gets me my last piece. In this, I bent up this rod, right? And I'll take apart the tape, and each one of these now will be very uniform. And let's look how we put this together. So here we've got our first stage. What we have is a 1/4-inch rod and the TIG rod that you saw me Z up earlier on the table with the little pegs that I have welded to the fab table. So what we're going to do is we're going to weld up each of the intersections here to the 1/4-inch rod. Now I've already cut this 1/4-inch rod to 24-inch lengths. So let's turn on the welder and let's get busy on this. One thing I'd like you to kind of pay attention to, on my fab table I actually have tabs welded to the bottom of the table where I put the earth or the ground strap right onto that, so I don't have to attach it right to the part that I'm welding. That grounds the whole table, and that allows me a little bit more freedom of movement and gives me a lot more space to work on without having the negative of the ground strap in my way. I cleaned up the welds a little bit here. And now I've got the other piece of rod laid down here. And then I'm going to flip this over and weld this side. So let's take a look real quick at this prototype one that I made. And the hardest thing that I found was holding the whole unit together when I welded it as a complete assembly. I found through my kind of trial and errors that to weld one of the attaching pieces to the main one that I just welded is to get the Z piece all in place and then tack an end on each of it and then bend it into the right orientation, and that was the easiest way I found to make these. So here's where this gets real tricky. On that last segment, that last piece that I welded in, I made sure that it was at the right angle so that it would accept this centerpiece, and it clicks right in there pretty nicely. But it doesn't necessarily want to stay when I'm welding. So I'm going to have to get in there and hold it down with something and get the tip in and get that welded. Today we covered the building of one of these little trusses. In the next episode, I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing with it, and it's going to be pretty cool. However, I want to note one thing. My show is not about a step-by-step process show, okay? I'm not going to teach you how to bake a cake. However, I want to inspire you to go learn new things. So I showed you how we Z'd up the frame here and how we did some of the welding on this. And although I didn't cover every single step, I want you to go out and try to do something on your own. That's what we call DIY. So look forward to the next episode where we're going to be putting these to some good use. Oh yeah, it's going to be really cool. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of 75Dually Garage. Stay tuned.